Hello my friends, followers and also channel members. Welcome back to the BoomerangSimPilot channel, and in today's video we are diving into one of the most essential components of the Airbus A320 cockpit. I mean the MCDU, or Multipurpose Control and Display Unit. Actually, the MCDU or Multipurpose Control and Display Unit in the cockpit used by pilots to interact with the Flight Management and Guidance System or FMGS. It allows the crew to input, view and manage critical flight data and also parameters. By the end of this video, you will have a solid understanding of how the MCDU works and how it supports the flight management system in automating much of the flight process. So grab your checklist and let's get started with the MCDU setup on the Airbus A321 today on board Lufthansa 3 Papa from Echo Delta Delta Mike Munich Airport toward Echo Delta Delta Victor Hannover. Stay tuned for see that how we will set up our MCDU for today's flight. Before going through the setup of the MCDU, we have to go through the FMGS or Flight Management System. We have actually for this purpose two flight management and guidance computers which located in the avionic bay of the aircraft. If FMGC or flight management guidance computer divided in two parts. The first part is flight management or FM part, and the second one is flight guidance or FG part. Actually, in overview, the flight management and guidance system or FMGS performs navigation function and lateral and vertical flight planning functions. Actually, it also computes performance parameters and guides the aircraft along the pre-planned route through the MCDU. The FM part or flight management part of the FMGC controls the following functions: navigation, management of flight planning, prediction and optimization of the performance, management of navigation radios, and also management of displays. If we see and monitor the MCDU, we can see we have a display, the keypad, and also two columns of line selected key or LSK on left and right side of the MCDU. The left column, which consists of 6 line selected key, is dedicated to input any lateral reversion data and also revisions into the MCDU, and also the right side column, which also consists of 6 line selected key, is regarded to vertical revisions and also insertion any data to the MCDU. According to Airbus recommendation, we have a pattern for set up the MCDU, which started from data page, then to INIT A, will continue toward flight plan and secondary flight plan, and after input data to the rod nav, then INIT B, finally go for performance page, and the data insertion is completed at this stage. But in abbreviation, the fellow of this pattern is diffs rip that we will see that how we insert this data and also parameter of the flight into the flight plan. First of all, we have go through the data page and select the aircraft status. For today, Airbus A321-200 Airbus variation or aircraft variation, which is correct. Engine type is IAE type V2533-A5, which is also correct, and active nav database, which is from 15 May 2025 up to 11 June 2025, which is up to date. And if I clear this rip here, we can see that the idle and also performance factor that as a predefined inserted 0 for the idle and performance factor here. If we return back to the data with the title of data index, we have 2 pages, and go for the second page because we should assure that there is no manual input of the waypoint, navgates, and runway or maybe route by the other crew in previous leg, that we do not have any idea about these items and also about these points and also navgates and maybe runways. If we have here anything else, we should delete all and plan our route, waypoint, runway, navigate by myself and also according to our information. Okay, everything is good. As a second page, go for init page, but for this init page, we can enter the route in 2 ways. Actually, they automatically, by selecting the company route here, according to a code that give company or dispatch office gives us with the code that whenever we input this code here, actually with the selection we will call all elements of route out of database of FMGC. But today we are going to do the manually insertion of the actually flight plan data. It's possible by selecting an origin and destination here, and then selecting all successive waypoints, procedure, and vertical constraint on MCDU. The flight number is Lufthansa 3 Papa Papa from Munich to actually Hanover, with the alternate Düsseldorf, and cost index 10. Cost index is regarded to each phase or sector of flying or any destination that divided by the airline policy, and actually airline gives us the amount of cost index that should be entered here. For today flight, we are cruising at flight level 300 as you see here, and for the temperature of cruising flight level, we have 2 ways to decide about the input of the cruising level temperature. The first one is go for top of climb at flight level 300, which we will cruising at this altitude. The outside air temperature is -46. The other ways is go for get the current airport meter and also calculate your cruising altitude temperature based on ISA or actually international standard atmosphere deviation according to level change and how much you fly over the ground. Okay, for the tropopause altitude, you can find the tropopause altitude at the end of your company flight plan, which shows us the wind aloft chart and also significant weather chart. But at the end of these charts, we can find a profile view of our flight plan and also predicted flying route. That, as you can see, we are cruising at a flight level 300. The true proposed altitude is mostly about 3,000 and 2,000 feet for today. I changed the true proposed altitude to 32,000, and also the outside temperature today, according to this meter, is 16 degrees of Celsius. Okay, everything is good, but I'm going to show you that for travel into the MCDU and see different pages, we have some options that, as you can see here, we can change the pages according to this indication on the MCDU. With right and left arrow, we can travel through the different pages, and also then after via keypad we can also select the different pages. And also here, as you can see, some items on the MCDU page have an arrow next to, and through this option we can go, for example, for IRS initialization page or wind data page. And for example, I go for climb wind, and next phase, as you can see, as a descent wind, and return again to the previous INIT A page. We have this option to most of the page for going through the other page. And after INIT A is completed right now, we are going through the flight plan today for departure out of Munich airport with the left LSK or lateral actually revision keys. We are going for choose the departure. Today we are going out of runway 26 right for INPOT 2 November departure, which is here. As you can see, the MCDU is color coded. Let's talk about the meaning of these codes right now. For example, boxed field must be filed by the crew. As we turn back to flight plan and erase this one and select here the to from, or for example we have bracket here, or here we have some box field for V1, VR, V2. We have the crew should and or shall file this box. For the blue fields, which for example here, inform the flight crew that entry is permitted. For example, I want today change the cost index to 1.5. The entry is permitted here, and I again insert the cost index 10 according to our flight plan. Green fields, as you can see, or for example GPS primary or accuracy in green, are used for FMS generated data and cannot be changed. For magenta characters, as you can see later, for magenta characters we will see that identifies any limitations about altitude, speed or time. The FMS will attempt to meet these actually limits. For yellow characters, for example here, if I insert our departure via input to November. You can see yellow characters that indicate a temporary flight plan display. And when I insert this item, they will disappear and change into green, white, and magenta items, and from temporary item will convert to permanently items. Amber characters signify that item being displayed. Display is important and require immediate action. We will later see the amber characters and also small phones. As if I can clear the inserted tropopause, as you can see, the font of tropopause altitude is small right now. It signifies that data is FMS computed. But if I manually insert flight level 320, it will change to the bold or large font and signifies manually entered data. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this color code information about the FMS, and let's go for check and insert some other data. For insert the lateral flight plan, we have 4 phases of flight for lateral data and entry of this data into the MCDU. The first one is departure, which we should input the takeoff runway, seat, and en route transition, which already done out of runway 26 right via input to November departure. And then after check the input to November, we are going for recheck the input to November. First, on IFIS panel, I should select the plan mode, turn on and select the constraint and reduce the range to 10. Okay, for input to November out of runway 26, as you can see, we will proceeding to Delta Mike 066 with max speed of 220 knots, then toward Delta Mike 064 and Delta Mike 065 with max speed 250 knots, and then after finally to input, as you can see here. You can see that already talk about the magenta items that signifies the limitation or limits along the flight plan or any vertical or lateral actually revisions. We are going as a second items and also insertion of lateral revisions from input toward our destination Hanover. According to flight plan, as you see, we are for the route going for input Yankee 102 Opala Mike 726 Lasto Mike 852 to Birka, finally via Tango 803 to Gitex. Okay, we are after input going via Yankee 102 toward Opala. I don't insert Opala as a tube waypoint, just I inserted here the airways, and you see what will happen later. Via airway Yankee 102 The next airway is Mike 726, and you can see the Upala will appear here. Because Upala is the intersection between airway Yankee 102 and Mike 726. There is just one waypoint for intersection between these two waypoints. And next point, which is Lasto, I should select here, set here and put here. But see, when I set Mike 852 as an airway name here, Lasto will appear here automatically, because Lasto is the intersection between airway Mike 726 and Mike 852. Then to Birga and via route Tango 803. Birka is correct, toward Gitex, Golf India Tango Echo X-ray here, and this temporary yellow items with insertion will change to permanently items. Route is correct and up to Gitex, and you can see that we have our destination Echo Delta Delta Victor in white here. I make a lateral revision again, go for arrival. Today we are going for ILS Yankee runway 27 right here via Gitex 5 Papa arrival, which Gitex 5 Papa arrival is here, and insert. But I will again go through the arrival. There is a via ILS Yankee 27 right is check, and as you can see, left or right arrow, I will go for Gitex 5 Papa, which is already checked, and but via SAS VOR, Sierra Alpha Sierra VOR, and Gitex 5 Papa here. Upon reaching Gitex, we can on track 301 going toward Sierra Alpha Sierra on radial 121, almost 9 mile, 8.9 mile, and the transition is Sierra Alpha Sierra. And if we check the Hanover ILS Yankee for runway 27 right, we can see that the approach will begin from the Sierra Alpha Sierra from south as an initial approach fix on track 007, 11 mile, then via left and proceeding toward final approach point of INSAG at 2000. Okay, that's good. And as a via, we just select Sierra Alpha Sierra VOR and insert. Let's go for check the star. Okay, it's a short flight today, and after Gitex we are proceeding to Delta 12 India. As you remember, after Gitex we should continue on radial 121 from Sierra Alpha Sierra 9 mile. Delta 121 India means on radial 121 from Sierra Alpha Sierra India means 9 mile. Each letter on the MCDU signifies and identify 1 nautical mile. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Letter I indicate 9 mile on the MCDU, and it means 9 mile from Sierra Alpha Sierra on radial 121. After Sierra Alpha Sierra on track 007 kilo, which is almost 11 mile. And as you can see here, for the approach, we can proceed on 007 degrees for 11 miles, which is actually signifies here as a kilo indication. This triangle, what show us this triangle here? Let me know and comment below below this post if you have any suggestion or any information about this triangle next to the delta 007 kilo. Please comment below this video. Okay, we are then going for Charlie India 2 Romeo Yankee, and finally in SAG and to the runway 27 right. We are now going for set the departure out of Hanover Airport toward Düsseldorf as a alternate. The departure will be out of runway 27 right, which we approach to runway 27 right in Hanover Airport, and in case of misapproach toward alternate airport Düsseldorf, we will climb out of runway 27 right, then proceeding via, as you can see, the route for Düsseldorf here. We are going to Whiskey Romeo Bravo 3 Sierra to Whiskey Romeo Bravo, then via Tango 5 854 to Domux, and via Domux 1 Alpha for runway 23 right at Düsseldorf. Okay, out of runway 27 right from Hanover toward Whiskey Romeo Bravo 3 Sierra, which is here, and there is no transition, no via, and insert. Whenever we will back to the flight plan, we will see the beginning of the primary flight plan. But right now, on this condition, we are going to the end of the primary flight plan for planning the alternate aerodrome. Just we press the airport key on the MCDU and going down for check our seat out of runway 27 right for Düsseldorf and toward Victor Romeo Bravo and via Whiskey Romeo Bravo. Whiskey Romeo Bravo via route Tango 854 will go toward Domux, Delta Oscar Mike Uniform X-ray here, and insert. Again, we are on the beginning of primary flight plan. I press the airport, go to the end, and travel for Domux, and also Echo Delta Delta Lima Düsseldorf. I selected Düsseldorf through the arrival, and we are going for ILS runway 230 right for Domux 1 Alpha, and also via Domux for runway 23 and insert. Again, press the airport, go for check after Domux. Whenever Domux is in the second or abeam of second LS key, as you see, is at the center of the ND also. After Demux, we are going to Düsseldorf, which is not correct. I cleared Düsseldorf. Demux is repeated here. I again clear the Demux and clear the flight plan discontinuity and insert. After Demux, via Delta Lima 450, 405, 406, 09, 410. And finally here for manual. If I increase the range, you can see the manual because of radar vector for return back to final and Delta Lima 450. But I leave this manual and flight plan discontinuity in case of radar vector and ATC available on VATSIM. I don't remove this manual and discontinuity right now. Okay, the primary flight plan is completed except two items. I make a lateral revision again, go for the fixed info, insert echo delta delta Mike, runway 26 right, and go for airport diagram of the Munich, which is here, as I think, yes. And as you can see, for runway 26 right, the runway heading is 260, but I want to extend the runway center line in the approach track, which I should insert 080 here. There is no need at this page for radius, and if I return back for input to November and check the MSA or minimum sector altitude, that is 4000, but it is not minimum sector altitude. This is a minimum safe altitude. There is no other sector here. 4000 MSA based on ARP. I go for the next fixed info. We have totally, we can have totally 4 fixed info page. I will go for second one. I insert echo delta delta Mike with no runway. Its reference fix will be echo delta delta Mike, which is ARP or aerodrome reference page. For this one, the reference will be threshold runway 26 right. Okay, I insert here just radius to 5 mile, and we can check the selection here for runway 26 right in direction of approach. I extend the blue dash line for the more awareness in case of return back for approach to runway 26 right. And if I increase the range, you can see the circle with the radius of 25 mile around the aerodrome reference point of Munich. Okay, let's return back to fixed info. The other item is here for the vertical revision, and go for RTA and check the flight plan about the departure time. As you can see here, our departure time is time 0730 out of Munich. 0730. Time is now 0806, which is almost the departure time which planned already passed. And see if I put this time here, which message will show. Okay, clock is takeoff time because this time is passed, and I clear this message, and there is no need for insertion of past time here at ETT. Going for secondary flight plan page, copy active means copy the active flight plan. This one is active flight plan, and in secondary, by this option, I copy the primary flight plan into secondary. As you can see, the secondary flight plan is as same as the primary, but the color code here is different. For the first action, we are going to import and make a new destination. Here, the destination is as same as the primary flight display, flight plan. We are going to change the destination Hanover to Munich, because in case of return back to Munich, we have an idea and also flight plan to activate for return back to Munich in case of any abnormality or emergency. Our seat point is import. Via import, I insert echo delta delta mic here, and if you see that destination is changed to echo delta delta mic, I make another lateral revision from echo delta delta mic, make a arrival to runway 26 right. Again, we are climbing out of echo delta delta mic or Munich airport northbound, and I prefer to return back for a nearest runway, which is runway 26 right, with no via no star here, and return. Okay, the other thing here is to select the engine out seat. We have two ways. First one is the standard one. Go for data for the next page, and for waypoint, and insert engine out seat as a waypoint here. It is not in our route, or also we do not call up this engine out seat point from the FMGC database. We have to make it manually according to blackbox711.com website for runway 26 right. We have to set echo delta delta mic 26 right as a place for bearing on track 260 for 25 mile. It is recommended by blackbox711.com website. Out of runway 26 right, the procedure for engine out seat. In case of engine failure during departure, we will continue this procedure. Out of runway 26 right, on track 260 degrees to 25 mile, climb to MSA and hold. Place bearing distance. We insert and store. Return back to secondary flight plan here, and I insert engine out seat just before the first point, which is delta mic 066, and make another lateral revision, make a holding. You see that there is no inbound course because this engine out seat is not a call from the database of flight management and guidance computer. I manually inserted and made this engine out seat point, and I just compute inbound course 260, which is good, right turn, which is a standard, and 1 minute. Okay, perfect. Return. Let's check the MSA for import to November, as we already check for RNAV seat. MSA is 4,000. I insert here 4,000 feet as a altitude constraint. For a speed, we should insert the green dot speed, because according to procedure, in case of engine failure, we shall accelerate to green dot speed, but green dot speed right now is not calculated by the FMS and also FMGC, because we do not insert any data about the weight and also performance wise information. And return back to the secondary. Okay, everything is good, and right now we are go to primary flight plan, and as a third fix info, I insert engine out seat here with no radial and also reduce, and you can see what happened here. If we increase the range. You can see engine out seat, a beam of this blue dash circle here, which is almost 25 miles out of runway 26, and it is a good awareness for flight crew in case of engine failure. Continue toward engines out seat, and also make a holding, activate the secondary flight plan and make a holding over engine out seat. Okay, for the secondary flight plan, that's time to insert in case of return back some items about weather and minimum on approach page. Current QNH for Munich airport is 1019er, temperature is almost 16 degrees, winds 230 degrees, 13 knots, and transition altitude, as you can see, is transition level. Munich for runway 26 right. In case of return, the transition altitude is 5,000 feet, transition level by ATC, but I prefer to set the transition level, because there is no ATC right now, to flight level 70, and also minimum will be 1,649. Okay, 70 here, 1,649 as a minimum for the ILS runway 26 right here. And for the next phase, I insert actually the field elevation and also elevation of the aerodrome and runway 26 right is roughly 1,500 feet, and I put NADP 2 as 2,300 and 2,300 for thrust reduction and acceleration altitude, and 3,000 feet for engine out acceleration altitude. The secondary flight plan is completed. Rod nav, there is no need for manual tune of any items, because input, as you can see, is the RNAV departure, and the requirement is RNAV1 or RMP1 or ARMP equivalent. DME IRU not authorized, GPS required, and there is no navigate indicated here, and I do not tune any navigate here. But if I refer to ILS runway 26 right, as you can see, the auto tune of the frequency India Mike November Whiskey, India Mike November Whiskey with the frequency 108.7, and final course 261, which is here, final course 259er, about 2 degrees difference, which is acceptable. And also we have 3 ways to tune the radio nav, as well as auto tune, manual tune, and tuning through the RMP, which we'll talk later. Don't worry about this item. Next item is for go INIT B page, and for insert any zero fuel weight CG and block fuel. According to our flight plan right now, we expect zero fuel weight 69.9 with a takeoff weight 75.6, and also required fuel is almost 6,000 kilogram. The fuel loaded is actually 6,000 kilogram, and let's go for MCDU menu, ATSU and AOC menu right now for receive message, and we have 2 load sheets. I go for the last one and recheck that Lufthansa 3 Papa for the 28 May 2025 from Munich to Hanover with registration Delta Alpha India Romeo Yankee, crew composition 2 in the cockpit, 5 in the cabin, zero fuel weight 69.9, and also takeoff weight 75.6. Total passenger is 218 plus 6, which is almost 6 infants on board. And we have 218 passengers which are seated. And a Mach of zero fuel weight is 26.9, and takeoff mean aerodynamic chord or Mach is 26.4. Also, fuel in tank is almost 6,000. For the third section or page, cargo distribution, which is check, and also the date and the time for issue of this load sheet. I accept this one, and then go for INIT B. Zero fuel weight was 69.9 with the CG of 26.9. Almost our fuel required and fuel on board is 6,000 kilogram. The taxi fuel, as you see, is 270, is almost 0.3 roughly, and alternate fuel for Düsseldorf is 1,766. It means 1,800 I put here. And for the wind and average wind component is -6 knots. -6 I put here. And the completion of INIT B page, as you can see, minimum destination fuel on board is 2,800 kilogram. Extra will be 500 kilogram with the extra time of 15 minutes. Perfect landing weight is, according to this calculation, 73.3. Going for performance page as a last page, and now going for calculation of takeoff performance. Out of Echo Delta Delta Mike runway 26 right, runway condition is dry, flap config optimum, force toga no, anti-ice off, packs off, takeoff weight is 75.6, which is correct. Takeoff weight Mach is 26.4, which is correct, and wind 250 degrees 14 knot, temperature 17 QNH 1019er, and there is no need for intersection. Calculate. The speeds are 153, 164, 164. Config 2. The trim will be up 0.5 with the flex 55. Perfect calculation, and we insert this data 153 as V1, VR will be 164, V2 164, and transition altitude 5000, which is correct. Flap setting for departure will be config 2, and the trim will be up 0.5, and flex temperature of 55. Here for thrust reduction as acceleration altitude, NADP2 recommend us to 2300, 2300, and 3000 feet for engine out acceleration. For progress page, I prefer to input Echo Delta Delta Mike runway 26 right in case of return back to Düsseldorf airport. Okay, everything done about the flight plan. As I said, departure, en route, arrival, and also alternate flight plan completed. And for any other items as well as For example, vertical profile and also revisions are performed and setup is completed. Do not forget to answer and comment the answer of the question within minutes ago I asked you. And if you like this video, just hit thumbs up and bell for remind you for the upcoming video. And also, if you do not subscribe the BoomerangSimPilot channel, please subscribe for the most and more positive energy by you for this channel. Thank you very much for joining me on board Lufthansa 3 Papa on Munich, and it was the full tutorial and also setup of the MCDU. Sit back, relax and enjoy the flight on board BoomerangSimPilot channel, and wish you always safest sky for you. Thank you and goodbye.